What are the limitations of legacy payment platforms? Many of the problems with the existing payment platforms stem from the fact that they rely on central intermediaries to handle transactions. As we discussed before, non-cash transactions have historically relied upon some degree of trust. In order to trust that money is being transferred reliably, we have relied on central institutions, like banks, to manage the transactions. However, that service comes at a price. For one, the infrastructure of these legacy payment platforms is old and expensive to use. This leads to institutions having to charge transaction fees simply to cover their own costs to use systems like ACH or SEPA. The transaction fees serve to pass these costs down the line to merchants and consumers, increasing transactional friction. In addition to paying simply to use the payment rails, transaction fees are bloated by costs associated with insuring against credit card fraud, bad debt, paying for customer support, rewards programs, and the cost of covering purchases before people actually pay off their credit cards. This often leads to credit card fees of 2 to 3% for normal transactions, with cuts going to the banks and payment processors involved. It's important to note that these rates have remained relatively the same for decades. You'd think decades of massive innovation in the technology space would find a way to drive those prices down, but there has been no real competition in the financial services space that has been able to accomplish this because they all rely on the same antiquated systems, and the banks are perfectly happy with the status quo.